Hello and a warm welcome to Sunshine Reports. I am Obi Chukwemeka Oti. The Ondo State Ministry of Health paid a courtesy visit to Ondo State Radio Vision Corporation Osrc to discuss strategies aimed at eradicating malaria in the state. The meeting focused on leveraging Osrc's broadcasting platforms to raise public awareness about the importance of using insecticide-treated nets. Adewumi Taiwo concludes the report.
Malaria remains one of the oldest and most persistent parasitic diseases, causing widespread human suffering worldwide. Transmitted by mosquitoes, it predominantly affects tropical and subtropical regions. Throughout history, malaria has posed a serious threat, especially to the most vulnerable populations globally. In response, the Ondo State Ministry of Health paid a courtesy visit to the Ondo State Radio Vision Corporation. The visit aimed to explore opportunities to effectively reach a broader audience and enhance health education and awareness about malaria prevention across Ondo State. Representative of the Ministry of Health, Afolayan Abolaji, said Nigeria accounts for over 25% of global malaria cases according to worldwide statistics. In light of this, the Ministry of Health seeks to build a strong partnership and collaborate closely with the management to combat malaria effectively.
Every persons that go to our hospitals, more than 60% of them are due to malaria. That is why if malaria is up as our problem, in fact, the brain drain confronting our health workers at health facilities will be minimal. Now found that just a year down the line, when people have been given net in 2021, only about 20% of households slept inside that net. That is, the use of this net is not tantamount to the ownership. So, and when we consider the huge resources that is going into this net, we wouldn't want to look and just be looking. That's why we have come up with this strong advocacy.
Director General of Osrc, Kenneth Odushola Stevenson, represented by his technical advisor, Collins Olagundoye, stated that both the Ministry of Health and Osrc are committed to reducing malaria cases and enhancing the health and well-being of Ondo State residents.
This is a communication organization, for the purpose of dissemination of information. And having gotten that, I want to believe that we are going to do our bit, and the DG has directed that when you come, I should be able to tell you this.
The State Health Promotion Officer, Ajibola Messi, said the Ondo State Ministry of Health will be distributing about 3.6 million insecticide-treated nets to the most vulnerable to prevent the disease.
Once a mother is dead or something happened to any mother in the family, it affects the children. And also, when it affects the children, the whole community is affected. So we have to do something fast. And the leading thing we can do to prevent this is to distribute nets so that people can sleep under nets and can prevent any this malaria disease.
This collaboration aims to boost healthcare delivery and increase public awareness about health issues across the state, ultimately improving the well-being of its residents. Adewumi Taiwo, Osrc News.
The coroner court in Akure has ordered an autopsy to unravel the circumstances surrounding the death of the former registrar of the University of Medical Sciences Teaching Hospital, Ezekiel Imole Adeniran, at a case management conference presided over by the Chief Magistrate, Dixon Ogunfuyi. The court emphasized that the inquest is strictly investigative, aimed at establishing whether the death was natural, violent, or suspicious. Late Ezekiel Adeniran died some months ago at his Akure residence, sparking concerns that his death might not have been natural. The Ondo State government subsequently directed a coroner's inquest. In Wednesday's sitting, Chief Magistrate Ogunfuyi ordered a post-mortem examination to be conducted by a government pathologist under the supervision of the State Hospital Management Board. He also summoned the immediate past acting Vice-Chancellor of UNIMED, Professor Adolphus Odogun-Loto, to appear before the inquest as an interested party. The court directed that a preliminary report of the autopsy be submitted within 7 days, while the final findings are expected within 4 weeks. Ondo State Governor Dr. Lucky Aiyedatiwa has expressed deep sorrow over the death of Otumba Bamidele Akingboye, an illustrious son of Ikaleland and former governorship candidate of the Social Democratic Party SDP. In a condolence message, the governor described the passing a painful loss, noting that Akingboye lived a life of purpose, service, and goodwill. He said the late politician's numerous good deeds will remain a source of comfort to the people he impacted during his lifetime. Aiyedatiwa, on behalf of the government and the people of Ondo State, prayed for God to grant the bereaved family, friends and associates the fortitude to bear the irreparable loss, while also asking for eternal rest for the deceased. Some parts of Ondo State capital, Akure, are grappling with worsening road conditions as potholes spread across major routes. While some areas have received government attention in recent times, places like the bypass, Oshinle, Ijoka, and several others are still yet crying for urgent intervention. Our correspondent Ayolua Tomewa Adetunji reports.
Driving through some parts of Akure, the Ondo State capital, has become a nightmare for many residents. What should ordinarily be smooth journeys are now marked by frequent stops, bumps and swerves as motorists struggle to navigate deep potholes dotting the roads. From the busy bypass to Oshinle and several other parts of the city, these roads have become traps, slowing movement, damaging vehicles, and in many cases causing accidents. For many business owners, it is the same tale of frustration. Many complain that the poor state of the roads is affecting customer flow, delaying deliveries, and ultimately reducing their daily income.
I know, and everybody knows that our governor is working every day. So, but then we want to plead to him, we want to beg him that they should help us to repair our road. As you can see now, when we went to buy something in the market, the taxi drivers, they refuse to carry us down here due to the situation of our road, and it's affecting our various businesses.
Kò sígbà tá a bá ti fẹ́ ṣiṣẹ́ ìgbà míì a máa ṣe máa yà fún àwọn ọlọ́kadà a máa yà fáwọn onímọ́tò díẹ̀ ìgbà míì mọ́tò àkọlù ẹlòmíì ọ̀kadà àkọlù ẹlòmíì tìtorí àwọn ọ̀nà wọ̀nyí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni nígbà tí ọ̀nà ò bá ti dáa tí a bá ti ń kọjá bẹ̀ tí mọ́tò bá ń kọjá tàmí sí yàn lára bí ọlọ́kadà bí oníkadà bá ń kọjá tàmí sí èèyàn lára so wọ́n á tún bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣépè fáwọn ọlọ́kadà wọ́n á máa ṣépè fáwọn onímọ́tò because tọ́nà bá dáa kò sí kan tí ó jẹ́ kí mọ́tò máa rìn gẹ́gẹ́ kí gbogbo nǹkan máa free at least tí ọ̀nà bá dẹ̀ dáa iṣẹ́ wa iná máa lọ síwájú ọkàn wa máa balẹ̀.
Beyond economic losses, safety is also at stake. Motorists swerve dangerously to avoid potholes, increasing the risk of head-on collisions. Pedestrians too are not spared as they struggle to cross flood-filled craters whenever it rains. Although some parts of Akure have witnessed recent rehabilitation, residents of Bypass, Oshinle and adjoining areas say they are yet to feel such government presence. They insist that urgent attention is needed to avert further losses.
As I'm looking at it now, you can claim life, but there is no person, either a rightful person or not rightful person. If I'm driving now, I cannot say what I'm driving, I will just put myself inside the pothole. I'll have to dodge it. And when I'm dodging it, the bike might be coming and the student might be coming. And if I look at this one, this is St. Louis Grammar School. This is another office here. Anybody can be passing. If you are not careful by dodging this spot or not, it can hit. So they are the better for the government now to do the right thing.
From the bypass to Oshinle and across many parts of Akure, the cry remains the same as residents want better roads. Until then, the potholes remain an everyday struggle. Ayolua Tomiwa Adetunji, Osrc News.
To security now, 4 suspected kidnappers terrorizing the Elegbeka axis at the Owo-Ifon-Benin Road have been apprehended by the Ondo State Amotekun Corps. The Amotekun commander Adetunji Adeleye, who led the parade of 28 suspects at the Corps headquarters in Akure for various criminal offences, reaffirmed the agency's commitment to ensuring peace in Ondo State. Joy Pius brings us details.
4 suspects identified as Kwangi, Kana, Sam and Daniel, aged between 18 and 27, allegedly responsible for a series of kidnappings in the Elegbeka axis, were arrested by the Ondo State Security Network Agency, Amotekun Corps. These suspected kidnappers were paraded alongside 24 other individuals facing charges including armed robbery, rape, cattle rustling, burglary and illegal possession of firearms. Amotekun Commander Adetunji Adeleye emphasized that the agency has shifted its focus beyond apprehending field operatives to targeting the sponsors behind these crimes. He said some of the suspects were arrested in villages along the Owo-Ifon-Benin Road.
The criminal world is evolving. Therefore, Ondo State Security Network Agency Amotekun always strive to be ahead of them. We have now gone beyond arresting criminals and suspects alone. As we talk now, we are now after their godfathers. Yes, we are now after their godfathers. We are now after their backbone. And the reason is simple. Until we uproot them, we won't have total peace.
Commander Adeleye credited recent successes to collaboration with other security agencies and intelligence provided by residents, which has helped secure forests across the state. He gave farmers the green light to return to their farms, promising a secure environment.
I want to thank the good people of Ondo State for their support, and I want to thank the mother agencies, the police, the civil defense, the DSS, who refused to be tired of our calling 24/7 to geolocate kidnappers, and we go there and we pick them. We also thank my sister agency, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, for their unflinching support.
As part of Amotekun's corporate social responsibility, the Corps rescued a 16-year-old girl found wandering in Ore after being drugged and assaulted. After 6 months of rehabilitation, she was reunited with her family. Adeleye urged citizens to remain vigilant and report suspicious activities promptly, noting that such actions could save lives and property. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
Now to the story that talks about a cultural shift in our society. Some parents today lean towards foreign names, while indigenous names, once a source of pride, are quietly taking a back seat. What some see as a sign of modernization, others view as a slow fading of cultural identity. So, are we preserving our heritage or slowly losing it in a bid to belong to a global world? Osrc's Blessing Obe explores the story behind this changing tradition and what it means for the future of Nigeria's culture.
Across the world, names are more than just words. They tell stories, carry history, and reflect values. In Nigeria, our names are part of who we are, from the rhythm sounds of Yoruba names to the deep meanings in Igbo and Hausa names. Every name speaks of family, faith, and hope. But today, things are changing. Many parents now prefer English or westernized names for their children. Names like Ngozi, Oluwafemi, and Ibrahim are slowly giving way to alternatives like Grace, Daniel, and Sophia. Why? Some point to globalization, others to lingering shadows of colonization.
Illiteracy, complex, it's part of why there's some people, so-called civilization. There's some people want to belong. They have a neighbor, or probably they visited a neighbor, or they visited a relative whose family probably reside in another state or another jurisdiction or another zone in the country, or probably it could even be outside, and the next thing they are hearing is stone, and they want to give their, you're giving birth to a child and you are naming that child Stone. What's the correlation of, stone, to our culture?
For many, it is about convenience, easier pronunciation in a global space, better acceptance in professional circles. But there is another strong influence, religion. When people convert to Christianity or Islam, they often take on new names to reflect their faith. A Yoruba man once called Adegboyega becomes Paul after baptism. An Igbo woman named Chinonzo adopts Mary, and someone formerly known as Sadiu might become John. Even within Yoruba names, we see subtle changes. Names originally tied to traditional deities like Ogumodede are now transformed into Oluwamodede, and Ifaleimo becomes Oluwaleimo, replacing the names of indigenous gods with references to the Christian God. For many, these changes signify spiritual rebirth, but for others, they represent a gradual departure from ancestral identity.
The name of a person is part of his culture, and the moment you begin to do away with whatever name you are called from birth or your ancestral name, you are indirectly or directly doing away with your culture. And it's just too bad that our society is embracing that kind of idea, dropping our birth name for some other foreign names.
Some people, they have their full name as native, and some they bear English name. One of my name is Johnson. I gave my children English name also, though derived from Bible. We are still saying the same thing, whether English or Yoruba. Take for instance, when you say praise, you can actually say it has Yoruba version, it has Hausa version, so it depends on the way you look at it.
Names tell stories. They hold the essence of beginnings. When they disappear, so do pieces of identity.
Tradition is embedded in what our names are. If you know, in Yoruba land, it is cultural that they will say you look around you before you decide what name to give to your child. It implies that the name carries a lot of responsibility.
I believe that a name has an effect or influence, on, a child growing up. Some tribes in Nigeria that when they give birth, they give that their native, their native names. They don't sacrifice it.
And it is not just names. In many homes, English dominates conversations, while indigenous languages struggle to survive. Still, not all hope is lost. A growing number of parents are proudly returning to cultural roots, choosing native names and teaching local languages. It is a quiet but powerful way of saying our identity matters. The revival of indigenous names is more than a trend. It is an act of cultural pride. Because when we name our children after our heritage, we pass on more than a name. We pass on a story, a legacy, a piece of who we are. Blessing of you.
And with that story, we conclude Sunshine Reports. Many thanks for your time. Good afternoon.